Alright, so I wrote something up here to help me out with some effects, Invector effects, sort of a global effect database. It doesn't really replace the hit particle system that Invector has, because you can define custom hit particles with a string, but this does provide sort of a nice catch-all and one-stop shop for certain tasks. The big thing I've done here is I like to use the bullet impact materials effects from the asset store. I can put a link in that. It's bullet impact effects. And then as well as the Crypto's volumetric blood. I know we all like to do that. So I've integrated that into this system here. Alright, so what this does is custom effects are just effects you define, effects that are defined by Invector or whatever. So for example, this one is impact concrete in the shooter part of Invector. Invector's objects do not have destroy functionality with them, or pooling functionality with them. So you set the lifetime here to 3, it'll destroy it after 3 seconds. If you've got a destruction script on your prefab, just set lifetime to 0. Or if you're doing any pooling on your prefab, again set that to 0. This bullet impact effects works with the bullet impact effects package, obviously, which they use physics materials on their object to initialize and use their effects. So that's what these parameters are for. I'll go through and walk you through those later. Here's the enemy body part of the crypto volumetric blood package, and you specify a tag. Here I've defined an enemy body part. Here's all of the Invector's additional ones that they've defined. Define your hit type, melee, shooter, or all, and then any number of blood effects that you want to happen for that particular tag. If you select more than one, they'll be chosen at random. Alright, so I've talked a lot. So right now, this first barrel here on the left, I've got that tagged as metal. So what we should see is a impact of concrete. Alright, great. There's our concrete impact. Now, the normals on this one are a little strange, but they should be working okay. I should also say that if they're going to be evaluated in order from custom effects to bullet impact materials to blood volumetric blood surfaces. So they'll be searched in that particular order, and the first one matched will be used. So here I'm going up to this second barrel here, and the second barrel is tagged as wood, but it's got a physics material of glass windshield as defined by the bullet impact package. So as you can see, element 0 in the bullet impact materials is got the glass windshield effect. So if I punch it and keg it, I'm going to get some glass going. But if I get rid of the use physics material and say, okay, let's say it's metal, and I start hitting it, metal doesn't match the tag metal because it's tagged as wood. So what it's going to do is go down, look at the second element, element 1, find the tag wood, and then apply the effect of water. So that's how we're getting water. Now let's go over here. This third one is defined as enemy body part. And this will kick off our volumetric blood effects. I gotta add some sound to that one. The nice thing here is the normals and the ground height are all determined for you, so it should be working just fine. So yeah, it's kind of a one-stop shop, hopefully, for all that stuff. I've got a couple of modifications you need to make to your code, but they're not difficult at all. I'll bring that over if you want to see them now. Alright. Okay, so basically you start with the melee attack object. And in the melee attack object, right in the onHit function, you're going to want to go down and in the if in damage or in recoil, you're going to want to define, take this vHitInfo and just simply move it up above that if check. Next thing you're going to want to do is come down and right outside of this if conditional, which is the in damage or in recoil, you're going to want to say melee manager surface hit effects question mark trigger effect, and then pass in melee manager game object. This is with the assumption that the melee manager is attached to your player. So effectively what we're doing here is saying trigger effect, here's my player, here's the melee info or the hit info, and you're telling it the type. Obviously this is a melee attack, so we know the hit type is melee. Finally, we've got to add a normal to the hit info. So Invector did add a hit point, but they should have added normal. So what we've got here is on our target collider, I'm determining the closest hit point, not just the hit point, but the closest hit point on that collider, and I'll be using that. And then to determine the normal, I take that hit point and I subtract it from the closest position. So these two lines are the ones you're going to want to use to get the normal and the hit point. And then finally in Melee Manager, all you have to do is define right before the start surface effects, serialize it, and then what you'll do is you'll get it, where will it appear? Oh man, my guy. You'll get it right here in the Melee Manager. Just open your default info and it's your surface hit effects. Right there, surface hit effects. And that's about it. So you should be able to match up everything. If you just want to use, if you don't have any of these packages and you just want to use it for your custom effects, easy enough. You know, just continue to add, you know, add more tags, add more hit types, and your effects, and that's about it. Alright, it's kind of a long video. If you want me to, there's actually some integration code you need as well for the bullet impact materials, but I'm not going to go through it right now. This video is getting kind of long. If you want it, just leave comments down below and I'll let you know how it goes. I'll give you that information as you need it. Alright, hope you found it useful. Hope you found the script useful. Take care.